Hey friends, welcome back to Artists of the Way. I'm Nate. Oh, that's right, I'm Jon.
I'm Nate.
I got thrown off because of last week.
There was no Nate.
There was no Nate, and I was like, I have to step in and fill the Nate shoes.
It was a good show.
Well, thank you.
You were completely capable of doing
it was kind of fun.
a
I
show
felt like
non-Nate.
the old veteran, like, yeah, I can still be a cop.
I still got it, baby.
Yeah.
No, you did. It was a lovely show with
Thank
Audrey.
you.
I really enjoyed it.
I missed you, so I'm glad you're back. I did miss you.
That's sweet.
I was like, this would be better with Nate here.
Well, it was really good.
Well, thank you.
So,
Today,
I don't know about that.
Today, Nate and I are going to have a little bit of a debate.
That's right.
Nate forgot, so I'm already.
No, I didn't
off on
forget,
the
but
right,
it reminded me and energized me.
Yes, we're going to talk about: is it appropriate? Is there room for tragedy for Christians as a artistic concept? Should we even be engaging with tragedy?
As a non-redemptive,
Or
do you define it differently?
I would probably define it differently.
You take away some of my arguments to define it just how you want to.
Well, no, that may be some of the debate then of what's redemptive and not redemptive.
Right.
I would say I'm just operating off of we're not jumping into the debate now, but we're setting the stage for you guys so you know. But first we're going to be friends, and then we're going to be enemies, and then we're going to be friends again. It's going to be a classic superheroes fighting each other movie where you're like, well, I know they're going to team up at the end.
It's like Jon versus Nate. Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going at it with the definition of, like, the classical definition of tragedy is a story that ends poorly for everybody, and comedy is a story that has a happy ending. So, which I wouldn't necessarily define as
right.
Like, I think you could have a comedy that's not redemptive and a tragedy that's redemptive and vice versa. But we can get into that when we debate. It also should be noted that Nate and I are slightly both on the fence on this, but we've decided to plant our flag on either spot.
Yes, I think I'm going to
really go at it.
I really probably agree more with you, but I'm going to take the position.
Which I really
otherwise.
appreciate. That is a what's the word? A discipline or something that needs to happen more in our day and age. I feel of being like, yeah, I'm going to, for a thought exercise, be willing to step into this argument's shoes and argue for it.
Yeah.
And help me understand the argument better and the people who land there better. And I think it's great. So I respect you for that.
Thank you, Nate.
Yeah.
I was inspired by, we played a debate game at my work
fun.
where you were like given like at the moment like the position you had to take, and it was like real like debate format. Okay, opening statement, and rebuttals and stuff like that. It was very fun. I thought it would be quite stressful. I'm like a non-confrontational person, but being able to like you're playing a role right now, and I'm not expected for people to believe like this is definitely what Nate thinks,
and
sort
I feel
of thing.
like gamifying it too, of like, this is the position, you just have to defend the position. That would kind of help me at least feel like, cool, I can really argue for this position.
Yes. It was oddly very empowering.
That's cool.
And I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited. Nate may make me cry. We'll see. But first, Nate.
Yes.
What have you been consuming?
Nom, 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 nom.
Should you go first or should I go first?
I can go first.
Go first. Do it, Nate.
Okay. I recently saw the big spring blockbuster.
Oh, Bachbuster.
Blockbuster.
All the chickens are flocking. See what I did there? To see
Project Hail Mary.
Good job. You picked it up and you ran with it. Proud of you.
It was Project Hail Mary, based on the book by
Andy Weir.
Andy Weir, exactly. Thank you. The Martian guy.
Yes.
This is a book that I'd actually read a year or two ago.
You'd actually read it.
Actually read it, if you can believe that.
Nate reading a book. Shocking.
Yes, it was shocking that I actually read this book. It's
Nate never
not
reads a book.
a book that's 50 years or plus older, and so usually I would not be reading it. But it was good.
Good.
They call it
They call it a series of finger taps.
Hard science fiction? Is that the term?
Is it where it's like really sciencey?
It's very sciencey. Yeah. And that was oddly very entertaining. Like I hadn't read a book like that before, but it's the science very driving the plot, and you're figuring out things with the guy. We're solving problems. And so that was a really fun read, and so I was very excited for the movie to come out. And it was starring Ryan Gosling.
Great.
And he was a great pick for this part. When I heard that he was going to play, it's like, yes, this is going to be great.
Nice.
And it was very enjoyable.
Nice.
It was directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Okay.
Who made the Lego movie and Cloudy with a Chance at Meatballs.
Yes.
And they produced the Into the Spider-Verse movies. And it just
They almost directed the Han Solo movie.
I know. I've been watching a lot of interviews and things like that after watching the movie. And I found that out. They were like, I think they were directing it and then they were taken off of it mid-production.
They basically shot it and then they were removed because the creative visions between them and the studio diverged massively, and so then they brought Ron Howard on to finish it up.
I wonder how theirs would have been.
I haven't actually watched it, so I can't.
Oh, you haven't?
I can't speak to it too much. No, I just wasn't interested. I probably should watch it. I've heard decent things.
That's how it was. It was like, fun. It's fine. It's fine.
But I feel like Lord and Miller don't make fine movies.
They make
like amazing genre-defining movies. So
very, very just like, this was a movie that like the whole family could enjoy. Nice. It wasn't like a kid movie,
right?
But it wasn't an adult movie,
like a classic.
Either.
Everybody can go and have some popcorn,
right? It's being compared to like a Spielberg classic movie, you know. And yeah, it was, of course, it is interesting watching a movie that was based on the book, because like, wow, this is very much like the book, except this was different. And they didn't have that in it. And why did they have this in it? But it's like,
did you feel like they made wise choices?
I think so.
Okay.
I think there's like one or two things. I think it would have been more clear.
Sure.
If they made this more clear.
Sure. Yeah.
Because of course it would have been. But it was very enjoyable, and I've heard that people who have read the book and who haven't read the book are both really liked it.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
I think people will enjoy it. It was very tactile in how they filmed it. Like everything that they could was filmed. Like they actually made the inside of the spaceship, you know. And apparently it was an engineering feat to create essentially the control room, this little control room where he's like flying it's a space, of course. It's a space saving the world by finding out why is our sun being eaten by little microbes.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. But this set that they made for the control room, they wanted to be able to point the camera at him from any angle, but this control room was filled with like hundreds and thousands of buttons and screens that were all analog and really working. So like the electrical work that went into making this was, they kind of felt like it would have been easier just to create the spaceship and do it in space. But so they had to make each of these like little sections be able to take it out so they could like put a camera in there and then put that back in, and we get from this angle. But it's really like a buddy adventure between the guy Ryland Grace and an alien that he encounters, who is a non-humanoid alien without a face and with like 6 arms. He looks like a Rocky spider, and his name is Rocky.
Nice.
And they just formed this great, adorable bond with each other.
That's awesome.
And I think it really helped that Rocky was a puppet.
Sure.
There's like CG elements to it too, but there is like a team of 5 puppeteers. They call it the Rocketeers. And they ended up having like the main puppeteer voice him too, just because he's just doing great. Why should we do it? Like, why should we get someone famous or whatever when this guy is just doing great and everyone's loving him? Yeah. And so they like could do stuff like in the moment, you know, that wouldn't work by just pretending there was a rock spider.
That's really
right
cool.
there. So that's been kind of my thing of my YouTube knows.
Yes.
I'm into interviews and behind the scenes about this movie.
Love it.
It's fun.
Nice. Yeah. Cool.
How about you? What have you consumed?
Well, we went to New York, which was crazy.
Yeah.
So I saw 3 shows because I also wanted to spend some family time, and then I ended up getting sick, so I didn't do a lot of family time and dragged myself to some shows
within
it is
less than a week or so.
It is, yeah. But it was really cool. So we saw Death of a Salesman, which I'll circle back around because that's my little prologue for our debate.
Okay.
But it was starring Nathan Lane, who people will probably most know as playing Timon in The Lion King. But he's been in a lot of stuff. The producers. How
old of a guy would he be now?
I think he's in like his 60s or 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But he was great. It was a phenomenal cast. Man,
that's so crazy to go somewhere where the live show is being done by famous people.
It was really cool, and also I oddly forgot about it with all of the shows that I saw pretty quickly in.
Okay.
That's
what they do.
It was just cool. Like, it would get the initial like, oh my gosh, that's this guy. And then like in 5 minutes I was just like in the show like I was watching any other show. Except like this one's really well done, you know? And that was really neat. That was cool. And it was really cool to just like be in the same room sharing the same artistic experience. Like a couple times I feel like I got kind of removed from myself and like thought about that and like, I've watched a couple of these people on TV and movies and stuff for a while and admired their work. And now we're all in this same artistic experience together. So that was cool.
Lovely.
The next one that I saw was called Dog Day Afternoon, which I knew nothing about. And the marketing was very vague because it was starring Jon Bernthal, who plays the Punisher, who's in the Daredevil TV series, who I love. He's fantastic. And then Eben Moss-Backrack, I think is how you'd say his last name. I really should have looked it up by now. But he has been in The Bear. He was in the Punisher TV show with Jon Bernthal. He played the Thing in the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, which one?
The most recent one.
Oh, okay.
So he is currently the Thing.
Who's the Thing?
Yeah, one of my favorite memes that started going around the Fantastic Four movie was, here's the Thing, and then it would just be Thing. I think maybe that was happening in like the Weekly Planet podcast, like when they have their edited videos, they'd be like, here's the Thing, and then the editor would just put the Thing on screen and they would continue talking about whatever they were talking about.
Love it.
So all I knew was that these 2 guys were in it, and I was like, these are 2 really great actors. I'd love to see them live. And then there was a third actor who's a character actor that I've seen in a couple things. He's in Silver Linings Playbook, which is one of Shay's favorite movie.
Right.
And so he was in it too. I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. And it's about 2 guys that are robbing a bank. And it's based off of a movie from the 70s that Al Pacino was in that I'd never heard of or seen.
Okay.
It turns out halfway through, Jon Bernthal's character, and he's the last person that like you would characterize as this because he's so gruff. He actually turns out to be a gay man who's robbing the bank because he wants to pay for his boyfriend's transition to being a woman. I don't know at the age, like day and age, the language, but
right. When's
so it was
set?
70s. So
whoa,
it was interesting. I really enjoyed it. Like it was a lot of the like bank robbers end up like becoming really chummy with the hostages. Like the hostages end up getting kind of more on the bank robber side than the police side. Like,
gotcha.
We kind of like you. We kind of want to stay in here. We're not sure we really want to go out to the police because that just looks like a scary situation. But you've been nice so far. Mm-hmm. I felt like the landing didn't quite stick because it ends with them. Spoilers if you're planning to go to New York and see it or want to watch the movie. But it ends with them. They're like trying to negotiate a way out of the country, and of course, the feds and police have just been playing them, and they get outside and they shoot one of the guys and arrest Jon Bernthal. And so you're supposed to have this tinge of like, well, this was just a sad situation that like wasn't handled well by anybody that came about because these people were so desperate and made a bad decision. But it didn't quite have enough time to breathe and to like grieve the one death. So I wish the ending had just been stretched out just a little bit more because it was like you're layering a lot of things on here, like especially with Act 2, because you don't find out about who Jon Bernthal is until Act 2.
Okay.
So it's like you keep layering on more and more aspects of these characters that we want to see what does that mean for their life and how's that all going to resolve. And then it just resolves really quick with, well, that guy dies and this guy goes to jail, and next time you shouldn't rob a bank. And then it was like done. And it was like, well,
good lesson for us all.
Yes, but I'm like, just give us a little bit more time to just breathe and be like, but what happened?
There's not usually like great, just basic lessons. Like, don't rob a bank. Man, that's good.
Good job, Jon Bernthal.
That's good.
Yeah, so it was interesting. I don't know that I don't even know like if it was trying to say anything, which I would admire in a piece of art. It did kind of feel like it was just like, these are just the people and this is their situation. Like, it didn't feel like there was a right or wrong thing. It just felt like, yeah, this is a nasty federal agent who's not going to treat these guys well, and this is a nice police captain who is trying to treat them well, and Jon Bernthal's really nice, and Eben Moss-Backrack is really unstable, and you feel bad for him and are also scared for him. Like, it did just kind of feel like they're all just the people they are.
Does it feel like it's trying to take, like, a cultural issue, but just blow up the stakes and of everybody on all the sides?
I don't know, because one of the interesting things was this bank robbery ends up drawing a huge crowd. And I think it's inspired by a true story. So I think this may have happened. Like, it just gets on the news, and so there's a huge crowd around there with the police as well. And so there's a point where Jon Bernthal comes out for the hostage negotiation with the police captain, and the crowd gets, like, really kind of amped up and on the bank robber's side, and he's playing to the audience, the crowd, and there was, like, a chant that started. And I, like, couldn't tell. I was like, are you trying to make a statement or are you not making a statement? Because they're also, at that point, I don't think there'd really been any police brutality or things. So it felt more like we're making a general statement, if you're making a statement, as opposed to like, well, like cops busted in and shot this innocent bystander because of, you know, poor training or whatever, and we're responding to that, and that prompts it. So I don't know if it was just supposed to be cool theater thing, you're in the story and that's fun, or if it was trying to make a statement. I didn't chant with the crowd, which I felt proud of, because I was just like,
oh, the audience was chanting?
Yes, so he like got the audience into the chant, which I'm like, in theory, as a theatrical device, could be fun of like, oh, we're kind of in the story, that's fun. I know Jon Bernthal, this is fun.
Oh, that feels a little gross.
I just
like kind
wasn't
of
sure.
Drawing them into something that may not be what they should be doing.
See, and that was where I was like, I
audience.
don't know if you're trying to say something or if you're just like, this is fun and the character's amped up and the crowd is amped up and you guys are amped up and we're playing off of each other and that's fun. Or if it's like, and I don't even remember what they were. It was like just a one word like thing. I don't even remember what it was now, but I do remember that I just like paused because I was like, I don't know if you're trying to say something or not trying to say something. And I don't know exactly what you're trying to say. So like, I don't know if I agree enough to like get in with the call and response of this. So I'm just not sure, but which is a little bit of a shame because I think it sounds fun to be a part of the audience that's like, woo, Jon Bernthal's egging me on. But
right.
So
that sounds just interesting in the fact of how I know everybody knows this is fake, but it seems to be an example of like how you can get a crowd of people to just go along with something.
Yeah, like you totally can. I think that's probably part of what was happening because like the energy of that scene just sort of built, and then he starts talking to the audience, and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of getting drawn in, and you're more on his side than on the cops just because you've spent more time with him. And you're like, I know that this guy's a good guy. He's just desperate. But he's been taking care of everybody and is trying to take care of some other people. We don't know who yet. So you're really on his side. And so I think it's very easy for an audience to emotionally get swept up in that. Which is part of, I think, why I wanted maybe that ending to breathe a little bit more. Because we really got swept up into their story and you really see their perspective, and I think we needed just a little bit more time to breathe with it of like, okay, that was messy and ended tragically, and because I don't think the show is trying to say that they're good people. It's definitely not. Like,
okay.
his boyfriend is like, I don't even really want to see you because you're kind of crazy. And like, I still like you, but also like, this is insane. Like, you are not making good choices. Like, it is very clear to be like,
Okay.
they're not making the right choice.
Okay.
But also, you really understand who they are beneath the surface level.
Okay.
And I thought that was very interesting, and that was something it did well. I just think maybe the ending needed just a little bit more time to breathe before we were in the curtain call of like, all right, let's just sit through the mess that we went through for 2.5 hours. That was fun and tragic and, heartbreaking and all of that. So,
yeah. Do you think that's what they want? Is just something very abrupt and then just leaves you thinking and talking for a long time?
Maybe
it
felt more to me like it was trying to emulate like a grungy 70s movie ending.
Yeah.
With like it's Chinatown, Jack Nicholson. That's Chinatown. That's how it be. Roll credits, Like, it felt like they were trying to emulate that. But I was like, that's not the ending that this script needs. This script needs something rawr and
rawr.
Yeah. Rawr. Needs a growl. Needs another chant. No. It needed something that was less like, and here's a fun one-liner, to like send us home.
Right.
So, like, I kind of just wanted to sit with John Bernthal and the dead body on stage for a minute and just be like, whew, boy,
Yeah, they didn't give you that then.
No, it sped right along.
Yeah, that feels weird.
Yeah. I found out we're watching it in previews, so it may have changed since I saw it.
Oh, really?
Because they were getting script changes. Like, that day they'd gotten script changes.
Wow.
New
show.
Yeah, it was cool. So it could be different from when I saw it. Maybe the ending's 5 minutes longer, and it is just John Bernthal crying for 5 minutes.
We need more crying. Longer that.
But I had a really good time with it, and it was really cool to see those actors. So that was
is really cool.
And then we saw Chess, which is one of Shay's favorite musicals, which they're reviving on Broadway currently. And I liked that quite a lot. I don't know that it's in some ways. So if you don't know Chess is about the chess championship during the Cold War. Because in real life, in the Cold War, the two people going head-to-head for the chess championship was an American and a Russian. And so it got insanely political, and there were more eyes on chess than there ever has been, and probably, or ever was, and probably ever has been.
It's chess. Rocky IV with
chess. Yes. And it's never done well. It's always bombed. I think this current run is the most successful one because it
really.
Yes.
Oh.
It's never done well when it's been on stage because the script's usually been pretty messy. And sometimes it's just been a whole thing.
Huh.
But there's been like 3 or 4 different versions of the script, and there was a new script being written with this one.
Wow, that's so odd.
I know. So the music was the same, but the script and the story was slightly different. If you were painting with a really, really, really broad brush, it's still the same, but there was a fair bit of difference.
I've heard a good bit about the story from Ellie. She knows.
Sure. I don't think that I liked this script quite as much as I liked the concert version is the one that Shay's shown me because she has a recording. So I don't think I liked it quite as much as that one because it felt like it softened some of the hard edges of the characters. And I think that's some of the appeal of the show is like, you can't really get on anybody's side very much. Whereas this one, it kind of felt more like, well, you can really kind of get on both these guys' sides. And I was like, well, that's not exactly what I wanted. Because they're still making it might be more marketable, but they're still kind of making the same choices. They just sort of soften them and we're like, but you understand even more why they're doing it. And one of them I really liked the way that they did it, and one of them I didn't really like the way that they did it.
Interesting.
But some of the like just scenes and dynamics were really good. So there was a lot about the script I enjoyed, and a few things that were kind of major things that I was just like, well, I don't know that quite worked for me, but overall I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time. It was wonderfully directed and wonderfully staged and great performances. So it was really cool.
What do you think? This is kind of a bigger question that we could talk a whole thing about.
Yeah.
About art. A big thing that it does is helps you empathize with people, including bad people. But then that you could make almost any bad thing, bad person be then understandable and then soften your feeling about what it is this person is really doing and such. Yeah. And there's just kind of inherent danger with art. And I'm sure like that's why a lot of people have had bad like skepticism about art throughout millennia. But then you can kind of understand why, and so you got to be okay with the danger, but it's just it's a little bit of a messy thing, isn't it?
It is. There's an adage a lot for actors and for writers, people who are kind of doing the story craft, which is like, and I think this is especially true for I think it's more true for actors than writers, but I can understand it for writers too, but is going in, I can't judge my character, because if I'm going in with a judgmental attitude towards my character, it's hard for me to empathize with them and treat them as a human being, as opposed to just a gross character that's doing what they're supposed to in the plot, but that I don't like. And I think that is an aspect of it, but I also think there needs to be a sober judgment in the artist to be able to say what is right and what is wrong, while also allowing yourself to empathize with them.
Like knowing where this path leads. Like if you're a person who lives this way, we can empathize, we can understand you, but this path in reality does go somewhere.
Right.
And it may be good and it may be bad, but just because of what we know of God's world, these paths go this way. And just because we like this person, that doesn't suddenly make this path okay.
Right. Well, and one of the interesting things with chess was it wasn't even like their likability or not. It was the reason they were making the choices and behaving the way that they were behaving was because of the circumstances they were in. Like they changed their circumstances just slightly. So normally the American is just a horrible person.
Right.
Like he just sucks. This time,
Josh Groban, usually? I mean, in the one version?
Adam Pascal was the American.
Oh.
Josh Groban was the Russian in the concert version.
Okay.
They made the American in this one bipolar, which is interesting because a lot of...
Does that take away some culpability?
Yes and no. I think, I would say, and I think probably a fair amount of people with mental illness would say, you do still bear responsibility. There's just also this other factor.
Yeah.
But you do still have to own responsibility for what you've done.
Yeah.
It just also isn't always entirely like you can slip and like get out of control, but a lot of that depends on like, do I have a solid community around me? And some of that's on your community. Am I, being responsible with my mental health? If I need meds to not go into a manic depressive state, am I making sure that I'm taking my meds, or am I recklessly just being like, I don't need that, it's going to be fine, and then ignoring when I go on a giant shopping spree and then think I can take over the world literally, But it felt like, that change made a lot of sense for me of like, I could see a lot of the crappy things the American does being because of all the pressure of that, plus what he's feeling inside makes sense that he would act out in that way.
Sure. And
so that felt more like an interesting layer that humanized him more to me, and didn't necessarily take away his culpability, but did make me feel like, I do want you even more to actually like rise above this.
Makes a little bit more sense.
It makes a little more sense. And like I'm kind of rooting for him a little bit more than I normally am, because I want him to figure out a healthy way to get past that.
Sure.
The Russian, his awful thing is an adulterous relationship. He leaves Russia, leaves his wife and children there, and absconds with Florence, who is kind of the main female character who was working with the American, then works with the Russian.
Yeah.
And I think is a very compelling character because he never, ever, ever, ever admits that he's in the wrong. And I think that's really interesting, that he's just, because the musical, just even by the music alone, can almost draw you into being on his side because you're like, oh, these are stirring numbers. Of course he's like in the right of, and he's fighting against Russia, which is at this time this awful regime. Well, still this awful regime, you know. And,
he's Russian fighting against Russia?
I mean, he's trying to leave Russia, so
right.
they're hounding him, and he's trying to escape and get out of that. That's his battle, and so you're like, yeah, I am on his side. I want him to shake off his oppression, and it almost pulls you into being like, shake off all of the oppression so you can be really you. But then you're like, hang on a second, because they very cleverly bring in his wife, and she has just some one my favorite song in it, which wasn't her song in the new version, interestingly, but is about him leaving her and her figuring out how can I move on. And when that number hits, you're like, oh no, he's kind of a scumbag.
Yeah.
But he never, ever admits that, and I think that's fascinating. Mm-hmm. But in this version, he's been much more sheltered throughout his life, and he maintains, and I think the musical wants you to believe, that his marriage was a Russian fabricated marriage for propaganda.
Oh.
And so it wasn't really love. And so he's shirking off his responsibility to his wife and his children under that guise, which I think is still scummy.
You got children.
I know. So I think it's still scummy, but the musical seemed to want to lean into a more classical musical route of like,
come on.
No, but he ends up going back there to Russia and to them, but it wants you to feel sad that he can't be with Florence and have the love of his life.
Sure.
And I'm like, but I'm not sad because
right.
Sucks to be you. You have kids. You got to deal with it.
Right.
And you're married. You've got to deal with it.
I'm sad you were being bad.
Oh, poor you. So like it just, it felt like it didn't treat his actions with the hard truth of what they are in the same way past versions had. And I think that's a moment of like, you have to be aware that you can't just ignore that this is a bad thing. You have to, if you're writing a bad character, even if you want us to empathize with them. I think Hamlet is a really great example of this.
Yeah.
Everybody take a drink. Because he does really awful things, and the story does not let him... It doesn't give him a pass for those things.
Right.
But also, I certainly find myself, I did play him, so take it with a grain of salt, but I find myself rooting for him throughout and being like, I really care about this guy.
Yeah.
I want a good life for him. I want him to rise above.
And that includes like wanting him to like do
better.
The right.
Yes.
Right. That's good.
And so I think that's a really good example of like, this guy is making really poor decisions, and we as a story are very openly admitting these are evil, these are wrong.
Yeah.
But we're going to really make sure that you feel for him and understand why he's making these choices.
Right. Yeah.
But they're wrong.
Yep. Yep. That seems rich. Yep. I think. Thank you for this conversation. That was helpful. Yeah. Yes.
Now that we've had a lovely, cordial conversation. Oh, we haven't even talked about how we've been struck by the Spirit.
Right.
Jeez Louise, we got to breeze through this.
Our actual segment will be like a 5-minute thing at the end.
Okay, let's just breeze through it real fast. How have you been struck by the Spirit?
Struck by the Spirit.
It's like a Bruce Lee punch. It's going to be super fast.
Struck by the Spirit. I'll just repeat the name of the segment until I decide what to exactly say.
I will also, little pastoral statement on the podcast. Sometimes you don't always get a big moving thing over a week. No. And so if we just don't have a big moving thing over the week, we did talk for a long time about art and had some rich spiritual conversations. So I will throw that out there. For you at home, if you play along with Struck by the Spirit, you don't always have to have something. Frequently, we start recording.
Before I listen to the podcast, what did I consider? How was I struck by the Spirit? What's my answer to a random question?
I really hope people do that. I hope people answer these questions at home.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to do something with God. I was drawn to an idea of doing something for God because I love him. And using writing, which I don't do a lot of, and to have thankfulness. And so so I'm trying to write just a little something every day, though I haven't been perfect in it. Just a little quick something of when I'm struck in the moment of what I'm thankful to God for. And then because I'm an artist, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to then have a little drawing to go like that as kind of like a drawing for God. Yeah. Like that, we could put up on his fridge sort of thing. That kind of goes along with what I'm thankful for. And that's been a nice little practice. Like, I don't always know like what it's going to be before I do it, but it is a nice reassuring thing of, oh yes, God, you are with me, and I do love you, and I am thankful to you for you and who you are and what you've put into my life. And it can just be a very like true feeling way to like talk to him in the moment, kind of like, I need you even right now, and thank you that you are there, sort of thing. So I think that's been a helpful way of like, I've felt his presence and like maybe more easy to connect with him lately than I always have. Yeah. So that's been a nice little thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks. Do you have anything?
I don't know. I feel like I have the beginnings of like, oh, I'm going to probably have to work through this with the Lord soon, but I feel like none of it has been like, well,
I'm one of those too.
Here's my perspective on this job. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. I think I don't remember. Stop me if I've talked about this on the podcast before. I don't remember. Have I talked about feeling like I'm kind of in a wilderness season?
Yes.
Yes, I have. So yeah, I just kind of feel like there's a lot of that of like, okay, I just kind of am where I am. And like, I know that God's here too. And we're just kind of here, and we're just kind of not in limbo or stasis, but we're just sort of like, here.
Yeah.
And things are coming, and I don't know what they are. And I don't know when, but it just kind of feels like,
right.
We're just here, like Moses shepherding, like for however many years. It's like, okay, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm just kind of shepherding, Okay, I'm just kind of doing this thing, and it feels like things are a little bit on pause, even though they're, life itself is not on pause. Just the way it's really moving forward. Obviously, I have a son who's always getting older and developing, and like things are changing, but it also does kind of feel like I'm on pause. I don't know.
Interesting.
So it's a weird season to be in.
Yeah. You're saying that like, I feel like God's like, I mean, at the beginning of something that he's saying to me made me think about like, I feel like I have one of those too of like, I've been trying to be like very intentional in aspects of my life. And I feel like I have to be careful, and God's reminding me to be careful of like, don't just think because you are doing all the right things like in your strength that you're going to get everything that you want. Yeah. And that living by your own strength, even doing good things, is a tenable option.
Yes.
So it's like that's a good reminder before I go too far down a path. And I've definitely had that, like a recent experience of that, of like a discouraging thing coming. It's like, but I was doing so good, and I was doing these things for you and with you, and I was wanting your blessing, and why is this like hard thing happened?
Yeah.
And I have to like, nope, get away from that idea.
Yeah.
That like not just everything is going to go smooth, because a lot of God's growing and blessing comes through the not smooth, and I need to be okay with that.
Yeah. It's like surfing, I assume. I've never surfed. Me surfing, come on.
Like take the wave sort of thing. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, just like it's rocky, and he's guiding you through, and it's a hard thing, but then
Yeah.
Move along.
Because I've definitely had
analogy, a metaphor. Yeah.
But I've had times where it's like, God is blessing me, and it feels very tied to like this me doing the right thing over here, and it can feel like, oh, that's the way it works, and it's like it can work that way sometimes, but it's just not. It's not always that straightforward on the surface formulaic either. And so that's totally. It's good for me to say that out loud because that can be a temptation. Yeah,
I have that too. I think I've talked a little bit about the like control thing, God teaching me to let go control. I think some of that is that of I'm like, well, if I position myself right and I do the right things, then I think I can get these outcomes, and they'll be good outcomes. They'll be godly outcomes, and I think they're what He's calling me to. And then it's just like, what do I know? Nothing. I know how to sync up audio and video on a podcast.
It's good. Not everyone can do that.
That's true. Well, have we been beat up by the Lord?
Oh man, yeah.
Nursing a bruise. Put some ice on that thing.
Yeah.
And shall we debate?
Let's do it.
All right. So. We are going to discuss tragedy and art. Of course, we've set out kind of at the top. What would be your definition of tragedy? Because I've shared my definition. Is tragedy
the word that we talked about originally?
So. I think so.
Okay.
What word did you think we were talking about?
I'm not remembering the word, but maybe that was it. But I think there's a definite like classic, sort of like, so tragedy, it doesn't really end well for most anyone. It's like things like a couple things that like should be and like they don't happen, and it feels like these two things like they really should have happened, sort of thing, and it's like tragic that it didn't. Like you feel like, it could have happened and it should have happened, and just because of how things worked out or decisions made, it was a tragedy.
Was there another layer you wanted to add in or touch on?
I think the general of, I think my mind was on like the non-redemptive element of it,
which we can move it that direction. I think of like we would have to define redemptive, I suppose. So
but let's not get too much in the
but
weeds.
Nate, I love getting in the weeds. It's where I excel.
I feel bad that I had like lost the clear like, oh yes, this is what we're going to do.
I'm good with the non-redemptive piece.
Okay.
I think I can still debate that. I mean, it's kind of adjacent, right? Like a tragedy, if it all ends poorly, you may not see the act of God unless it's clearly an act of God to like punish this person. But I'm thinking about the tragedy of I
think within the show that you don't feel the little rise at the end kind of thing.
And I think Death of a Salesman could bring us into this really well, which was what made me think about this, because I watched Death of a Salesman and I was like, wow, this is really good. Death of a Salesman, spoilers if you haven't seen it, ends with the titular salesman who's been a salesman at this company for like his children's entire life. It's been like 30, 40 years.
Okay.
He was there not long after it started. He was promised he'd be made a partner, and that never happened. And he's just started to get dementia and slowly get a bit confused. And that was incredible directing wise. Like the way they would you would go into his memories, like you would be with him and all of a sudden he'd be talking to somebody else and they would come on stage and the whole lighting of the set would change and it felt completely different.
Cool.
And it was interesting because those scenes always started very nostalgic and joyous, and they would always just start to deteriorate, like just an egg sliding down a face.
Oh, wow.
Like it would just sag until it was like, oh, this is not happy anymore. What's happening? And so it was a very impacting portrayal of that illness, I thought. But he just keeps trying and trying and trying to get back on top, and he wants to not be driving around so much anymore, so he wants to get a different job. His sons aren't successful at all. One's been running around being a rancher and not really doing anything, and he's like, I don't know what you're doing, and you're 30. And the other one's just like sleeping around and working at a grocery store. But he also really loves and cares about his sons and thinks they can be great, but they're just not. And he's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just trying my best. I'm trying to be, positive, and I'm pulling it together. I'm pulling everything together, and it ends with him after just everything falls apart, and he doesn't have a job anymore, and he doesn't know how to help his family and pay the bills and all of that. He realizes, well, I have a life insurance policy, and if I died, then they would have the money. And so he chooses to end his life. Okay. And they get the life insurance money. And it's heartbreaking and so tragic because there's a couple different points where you're like, this is a perfect out for you. His neighbor offers him a job and he can't take it, I think, because of pride. But it's just like, this would be perfect for you. He's offering you exactly the kind of thing you need. Both him and his oldest son frequently talk about wanting land. And his oldest son, at the start of the play, is like, I'm thinking about trying to ask for a loan from somebody to start a ranch. And then he ends up getting swept into like this sort of businessy sales like pitch from his brother, and he's like, oh, well, maybe this would be a good way to take care of my parents. Whereas if he'd just gone for the loan with the land, that's where his dad would have been happy, and he would have been happy, and his mom would have been happy. And so it's just so tragic.
Oof, I think that's a word for tragic.
Yes. So I was like, that was really good. I enjoyed it. Would I do that play? Because it's not redemptive.
Right.
But it's real. But it isn't. Where is God in it?
Right.
So that, I think, leads us into here.
Okay.
So
I will take the part of, this is a play that should not be done by any Christian organization, let alone anybody else.
And I will take the part of it absolutely should, and there's space for these kinds of stories.
How could you?
I know. I'm evil. Do you want to open, or do you want me to open?
I will open.
Okay. The floor is yours for I'll say 3 minutes, just to keep us moving.
Okay.
Does 3 feel like enough time for your opener?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, people who are watching this debate, you have heard what Jon has, the words he's used to describe this show. That brings you through a journey with plenty of time to grow in love for a character and for things to go right. And it dashes you upon the rocks at the end. I would submit to you that this is not a show where God shows up and where his redemptive qualities, which he loves. God is the great storyteller of our world. And even through hard things, there's always a string that he pulls that shows that this story is for the ultimate good. And sometimes we don't see that, what that is, but it is happening. But this show gives you no room to see that happening at all. I would submit that this is actually a show that the enemy, Satan, could revel in. That he has taken a creation of God, this salesman and his family, that God has made and has made beautiful potential, but it shows how the devil can just take a thing and grind it into a fine powder and let it blow away in the wind, and you're left with nothing hopeful, and you can you would walk away out of this theater thinking that this is the way that life is. That you can try, you can work real hard, you can do the right things, but in the end, that's what we are. We are dust in the wind, and the dust doesn't care about us, and nothing actually really matters in the end. I will leave it at that for now until my rebuttal.
Cool. You have an extra minute on your rebuttal.
Oh, wow.
Because you doing real legit debate rules. I've watched several debates. I know how this goes. So you came a minute short, so you get an extra minute. Okay. Do I have to time myself? Because I have the clock here.
Oh, do you want me to get out a time?
Yeah, why don't you get out of time?
Okay.
I'm just going to stare. I'm going to make eye contact with the audience to get them to empathize with me.
He's developing a relationship.
Hi.
Oh, no.
Look at my friendly smile, my soft beard, my blue eyes, my balding hair. Don't you relate male pattern baldness, friends? Ready? You started it. No.
You were developing a relationship. I'm starting this.
Life is messy and life is hard, and I wish that it were not so. And there is a definite reality for us as Christians that we live with eternity in mind, and we live in victory. We live knowing that death has been defeated. But there is still a not yetness to the kingdom. There is still the culmination of God's kingdom has not arrived, and we still feel the pain and the horror and the awfulness of the fall. There are people that go their entire lives, I believe probably even Christians, without even being able to say 100% for sure, I know that I've seen or experienced God in this. They're living off of faith. I think that these stories are important because they show us the reality of those experiences, of feeling hopeless, of feeling alone, that oftentimes doesn't have a resolution. I think they are important because I think that they are cautionary tales. In the case of this play, I think the value that it has is in not trusting in our ability to be able to do the good, and knowing that if all of our bets are on that, that will not save us. There is no salvation in us. So of course there is no salvation there if the salvation that's trusted is the self. The most compelling argument to me for the role of tragedy in the Christian life is the fact that it's still in Scripture. Maybe not in the New Testament, and we certainly need to live with that eschatological New Testament framework in mind, but we still as Christians have a long tradition of sitting in the difficult things and letting them just be there and know that we can take the hard things. God can take the hard things. We know that we can have an Ecclesiastes or a Lamentations that ends just with depression and sorrow. We know that we can have a Good Friday service, and we don't have to end a Good Friday service. Oh, I'm about to rant. I only have 30 seconds. I can't rant. Mm-hmm. Remind me to tell you off here to rant about the really bad Good Friday service. We don't have to end a Good Friday service talking about that this didn't actually matter because Jesus is back. We can afford to sit in the awful tragedy of his death. As this comes out on Good Friday tonight, we can afford to sit in the awful tragedy of his death. Because God is stronger than that, which means we can just experience the tragedy and let it work on us and know that God will be on the other side, even if he isn't in this story. Sorry, okay. I know I went a couple seconds over my time there, but...
That's fine.
Okay.
Wow.
Would you like to respond right
job you did right there. Wow.
Do you want to respond to me immediately, or do you want me to respond to you first so you have a little bit of time to mull?
Oh, I guess that is more like how it usually goes, isn't it?
I don't know, but that seems fair to me because I had a little bit of time.
Okay, yes. I will take that.
Okay.
Time.
So, 2 minutes for rebuttal?
Okay.
That feels appropriate. All right, ready?
Go.
Nate submitted to you that these stories don't have a role in the Christian life because they do not leave space for the ultimate victory of Christ, and because ultimately they simply show you what is the work of evil, the work of the fall, the work of the devil. I would submit to you that while I believe there's a very compelling argument for this in saying that as Christians we need to hold on to eternity and to the resurrection,
very
that
compelling.
Ultimately, we need those stories wherein we see the brokenness, because it is in the brokenness that we understand with clarity our need for Christ, where we understand with clarity the depth of our brokenness. We need to feel it. If we do not feel our own brokenness and the world's brokenness, if we don't empathize with the people who have no hope, how do we know to reach out to them? If we don't empathize with our own, or feel our own brokenness and our own lack, which these tragedies show us, there is a definitive lack at the end of a tragedy because there is no resolution at the end that is satisfactory. It is a lack. And that points us back to God, who can be the resolution for all of that. And so I would submit that those points which Nate submitted are the reasons that it matters. It's important to see how people can fall, so we know not to do it. Kings is all about that. The book of Kings is all about that. Jonah is to an extent about that with Jonah. We need to know the failure of these people so we can learn from it, and also so that we can see this is why we need God, because he is the resolution to every story, whether or not it provides its own resolution.
Wow, 146.
I got 13 more minutes or seconds.
Do you need them? Are you good?
And Nate's a lovely human being.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Don't do that.
All right, you're up.
Okay.
Let me know. Well, you just start talking and I'll start the timer.
Yes. Oh, what nice words we've heard from this man here. But in these shows, we do not get these kind of nice words from a person after we walk out of the theater. The last words that we hear are from sobbing family members as they look at their dead salesman father. And we walk out of there and we are just left in a cloud. And it is within that cloud that people can be very vulnerable. Their dark thoughts are invited to come back into their mind. Is there any other way that the enemy would want a show to go than this? This is how your life is. Remember when you messed up and made these kind of decisions, your life is like that. And just like there is no future for that salesman, there is no future for you. In fact, you're wasting your time and really being a bother to everyone by your continuing to try. Did it do him any good to continue to try? No, it didn't. These are the kinds of voices that are coming in people's heads after they walk out of this show. And I don't appreciate that. You're okay with that. And I just want you to stop and think about what you have done today.
Thank you. Do we want to do any more rebuttals, or are we ready to take off the debate hat? Because I do have a response.
I'll let you go.
Okay. We're gonna go down to 1 minute.
Okay.
So our next rebuttals have 1 minute. Because I think you made a very compelling point, is like the main reason I want to respond. That was a very compelling point, that yes, there isn't necessarily somebody at the end. There's not a priest to tie it up. But I will say that when we're left in that vulnerable state, the only person that can really reach us and move us is God, who is always there to provide us with those things. I think that art can open up our hearts by piercing through, sneaking past those watchful dragons, as Lewis says, and open our hearts for Christ to be able to reach us, even if it's in the quiet of our own soul, or if it's in a friendly smile from an usher as you leave, or
the usher, the usher.
Soothing rain as you walk out. I don't know what it would be that he would use, but yes, you're in a scary place and a vulnerable place. And those are the places where God can hold you and bring you in and lead you to clarity and maybe to redemption or some greater beauty. I think my time's up, but
well done. Well done
to you. I think you had the harder side of the argument personally, and I think you argued for it quite well. So,
well, thank you. But I enjoyed that exercise that I really liked hearing what you said.
I liked hearing what you said.
And I think as you were talking, I'm like, man, he's so right. I'm like, oh, this is a beautiful explanation. I haven't fully thought of this, but this is a beautiful explanation of why these shows like this are needed. It's like, oh yes, I do see that of how it, like, I think you used the word a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way to put it, that lack that you said, that, oh, this is not where it is.
Yeah.
This is not where it is. And I like you're at the end there pointing to, well, God is everywhere and he is powerful enough to bring the people where it needs to be. And so resting on the power of God, who's much more powerful than the devil, who I just had to devil's advocate for.
I did love you were bringing in some very classic, like, a piece of art talking points, and I was like, well done, way to bring it back. I did find the point you made very compelling, though, of at the and part of this is because I felt this dual calling of a pastoral calling and an artistic calling, so I have a very hard time divorcing my art from its spiritual impact. You make a really great point that we do as artists leave audiences somewhere, and we don't always get to pick them back up and say, but this is why. Like when I played Hamlet, I'm depending on people catching a couple looks and understanding how I deliver the last line to understand that I'm trying to say in this that no matter what, there's grace and redemption. I can't follow every audience member out who may be depressed by what happened to Hamlet and say, but it's okay because God forgives no matter what. And there's always hope, even in the last moment, for that return. And so that there is a responsibility there that, and is,
maybe Death of the Salesman's not a good example of this, but I think there is like bad and evil art out there that can really push people to places where they shouldn't be. In
the episode we just had with Audrey, there was she talked about art that points down and art that points up. And art that like revels in. She mentioned The Boys, which I've mentioned a couple times before, that revels in just the awfulness of the situation. And I don't think Death of a Salesman did. I felt that Death of a Salesman, you could feel that, oh, there is something more up here, even if it's maybe framing it more as like family and humility and something. Right. Ultimately, we know as Christians that's all coming from God, and we know it is looking upward. It's just falling, but it's still looking upward. Yeah. As opposed to like, well, I'm embracing the pit. Here we go. You know. Yes.
I think from your describing of the story and how he had these chances along the way, which really do make it a tragedy, right? That's what makes it, part of what makes it a tragedy.
That it could be so easily avoidable.
Yes. And I think maybe that's why tragedy really works, is because it gives you the, it didn't have to be this way. Right. Versus a completely nihilistic work of course it's this way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe our arguments wouldn't be the same if we were arguing for like nihilistic art.
Yeah. I would have a much harder time arguing for nihilistic art, so maybe, I don't know, maybe we do that in the off time. I don't know if we need to do that on here, but that'd be fun, just in the off time. Excuse me. I'm going to have a death of a podcast right
now. It didn't have to be this way. He didn't have to choke on his spit. No, but that was helpful, and I hope it was to everyone listening too, because that was very good for me to hear about. Like, oh yes, these are good points.
And it thinking through that, I almost am thinking there's some stories that I'm thinking of where I'm like, well, I've thought of this as tragic, but maybe it isn't really. Like I've talked about Logan on here quite a lot, I think, which is a movie about Wolverine, and he's sad and depressed, and it's just a very violent and depressing movie, but it ends with him like discovering love for his daughter, and he dies, but it's a self-sacrifice for his daughter so she can have a better life. And in some sense, you could maybe view that as tragic. Like he is very much a victim of the world around him, but emotionally there is this little up at the end. There is a bit of that comedy.
Right, for sure.
And so that maybe pulls it out of the tragedy.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Well, this was lovely.
That was
Good
interesting.
Job.
Well done yourself.
Well done to you. Seriously, you started arguing. I was like, oh man, Nate's got the harder job than I do. and I was impressed. I think you argued for it admirably. And you did a great job, especially with the rebuttal. I was like, oh, shoot. And you like zeroed in on the things that I felt were the hardest to argue against. So well done.
Well, thanks. I loved your heart coming through what you're saying. I thought that was very touching.
Thank you. Should we rapid fire question?
Let's do it.
Cool. I don't have my phone because it's playing music for my son, so we got to be all on your phone.
Yep.
We got some new questions, didn't we?
We did.
Exciting. Patreon member coming in clutch with a new question.
That's right. We appreciate our Patreon members.
We do.
Okay.
In the meantime,
pause while I didn't add them to the list.
So
no.
Have
to do that a second.
That's okay. Tragedy comedy.
Tragedy.
You know, this could be an ad break. This would be such a late ad break.
It's tragedy.
I don't know. We're having fun so far. I might leave this in. I would be very interested.
Who is that song by? That's a quiz for you.
Something I can do is I can put the little tag for questions that I normally put at the end right here. Oh. I want to hear what you guys have to say about tragedy in art. I think it's one of the most compelling topics in terms of stories in art. Do you guys feel like there's a place for these stories where it's just like, well, that was just sad and everybody made the wrong choices and I don't like it? Are there parameters or things that you're like, this is how you should do that kind of story as a Christian? Like you can do it, but you have to do it. Yeah. Are there ones that go too far?
This does not go far enough.
That's true. Make it uglier.
Yes.
Let us know.
Painted black. Na 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 na.
Hey, no, the copyright. But yes, comment down below, or leave a comment on our social media, or write in the contact form. I want to hear from you guys. I love hearing from you guys. It's great. How many
15,
questions
16,
we got?
17 questions.
That's more questions.
The most questions we've ever had.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. Nate, I'm going to ask you first because I ended with the rebuttal.
Oh, but you don't have your random number generator.
I was going to say pick a number between 1 and 17, but then I'd be like, you'd basically just be picking your questions. Hang on. How can I'll just look this up. Nate, quick talk to the audience.
Hey guys. We want to hear from you really mostly about what is it that you snack on while you listen to our podcast.
Honestly, really want to know. That sounds really fun.
This is what keeps us up at night. Are you oatmeal smackers or are you chip crunchers? Comment below.
All right, we've got question. Good job, Nate. We're asking you guys so many questions today. I love it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What would be your last meal before execution? Or if this is your theology, the rapture.
I think execution is within my theology. Man, my mind went right to meatloaf.
You do love a good meatloaf.
I do love a good meatloaf.
That's a line from a show.
Oh, what?
I don't remember exactly how it goes.
That's from the show I was in.
Yes,
I said that line.
You in. Yes.
Yeah, I got maybe a bite that had some meatloaf and mashed potatoes all in one. I think I'm hungry.
I've not
it makes execution sound okay right now.
I've not eaten those together in one bite. Would you recommend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not normally an everything in one bite kind of guy.
Okay, I'm like, you've had opportunity. We've had this meal at my house multiple times.
I just imagine that all of my plates are the kid plates that section the things off.
You're like, I imagine the barrier right here,
yeah,
right here,
and they won't cross. Butter, no, what are you doing? You were given a strict command.
All right. Okay.
You're up.
I got to find a number for you, right?
You do.
Okay. Generate. Okay. 12, John.
Oh, what do we think it is?
1, 2, 3, 4. 5,
Some people
6,
say 12
7,
is the
8,
funniest
9,
number for
10,
a joke because it's the highest number you can get for the fewest number of syllables. So it can give you the biggest punch.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
You already answered 12.
Well, that's speaking of funny.
John, same question to you. Number 9.
What would be my last meal? Oh, no. I don't know. I love so many foods. The problem is I don't know if I want a pasta or a pizza, and that's just always the big conundrum of my life.
It's the hardest thing about his life.
How many courses is this meal?
3.
It's 3 courses?
We're being generous.
Okay, well, I'm going to have bread
Bread
as an appetizer. And I'm going to have pizza as my main. And I'm going to have pasta as my dessert.
Yeah. Ooh.
That was totally cheating, but I'm going to take it. There's this lovely, I discovered this recipe around my birthday because I was going to make it for my birthday, and then I didn't make it on my birthday, but then I made it like a week after, and it was great. It's this creamy garlic pasta, and it's just... You just put garlic and you put heavy whipping cream and spinach and tomato in a pan with some butter and some Parmesan cheese, and it just makes this beautiful light creamy garlic sauce. I was actually looking for I found the recipe while I was at your basketball game.
You should have seen me layupping.
I did see you layupping. I also found this delicious pasta.
Best of both worlds.
But it's great, and it's got spinach in it, and it's got a really lovely garlic kick. But it's not heavy, which a lot of creamy pastas are. Like, you just feel like, oh, this is not going to go down well. Or, like, it'll go down, but, like... Not well. My stomach, it's not going to be upset, but I'm going to feel that it's got things in it and it's working the entire time. So
right, heavy.
So it's very light, but it's got that creaminess. And you've got the chicken in there. I love it. It's wonderful. And, of course, pizza. I'm just Italian, can you tell?
But Nate, since we get 3 courses, I want to add a taco with all the fixings in
What's
it.
your appetizer?
Oh,
because I had bread for my appetizer. And I mean a nice Italian loaf, and I want olive oil that you dip in.
You know, I grew up and currently am growing up with allergies. And so I don't know what this appetizer thing is you're talking about. I don't go to restaurants where they
Chips
bring you
could be an appetizer.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I just tried some potato chips made with beef tallow and no oil.
Yes, you were telling me about those.
Telling all my friends about this. And it was pretty good. Yeah, chips are a good appetizer. Sure, I could eat that in the diner.
Nice. Cool. If you could enact a new law, what would it be?
Oh. Come on. I mean, it's... Are we going serious here? I guess we are, because that's where my mind went. I'd do the national abortion ban.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's something we can say as a country that we're not okay with. There are plenty of federal laws for lesser gooder reasons. Yeah. And so that's mine.
I personally think of and I understand all of the emotions that can be wrapped up in the scariness of a pregnancy all of that. And especially if you're alone, like, I don't want to minimize that.
Yes.
But I think that as soon as that becomes a human life, when you know that when a fetus that is at conception becomes a human life in your mind as you're thinking about it, there's no excuse. And I think it's the clearest of the sort of cultural hotspots of our day and age that Christians can and should be planting a flag on, is that this is a human life and this is wrong.
Yeah. While it's still, for people who are in tragic situations, having more and more people and organizations that are there to step up and help them. I feel like us planting our flag that strong almost necessitates that, like, okay, if we're going to say that this strongly, though, we really better show up. We have to, because there's, and I think a valid argument that people will say of, like, but are you really pro-life if you're stopping, and I don't think it negates it, but I think it's a really important thing to think about of, are you really pro-life if you just stop it while the child wasn't killed in the womb? Are you really... What are you doing after that? Right. Some say, like, well, would you be okay with, like, making the baby daddy pay child support while it's in? It's like, yes, let's do it. I think that, I have a lot of emotions about the dads just being able to run off. I think yes, it's a very anti-woman position allowing abortion, because it's like just pressure. The guy gets to do what he wants, and then pressure the woman into, no, we can get rid of this problem. You got to get rid of this problem, because I'm not going to step up and help you take care of this problem. And so we definitely need more responsibility and culpability on
I think
the man.
I think we need to get the man responsible. I think we need to get adoption easier for both people to adopt and for people to. It's probably pretty. I would assume it's easier to put up your child for adoption than it is to adopt. But I think we need to make that easier so that if you are like, I'm 14, I can't, and my parents won't.
Yeah.
But then I think, okay, well, then I personally think churches, because I think government's taking on some of the things that the church should be doing if they're doing things properly. But we need to then be creating support systems for how do we help this person who maybe wasn't really ready to be pregnant, but is. How do we help them through that and support them through all of that and after that?
And after that,
we
too.
Help that child find the right family if that's not the right family for right now? How do we make adoption way easier than it is? Because it's ludicrously hard to just help a child.
And expensive. Because you want people to... the kids to go to a place where they're actually going to be taken care of, but it doesn't need to be like what it is.
So expensive, yeah. So, 100% agree with you, and yeah, great law.
Thank you.
we got passionate there.
Okay, that was number 17.
Yes, it was.
Little did we know that we were on the edge of 17.
Were we the edge of 17 would be 16? Well, I guess
we were.
Going into
18. We were going into 17. We didn't know it. That's why little did we know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Nice.
All right, John.
Yep.
Number 8.
Oh.
Feeling it?
No, you're holding the phone. That's where all the questions are. And I can't feel it. No, I'm not.
It's coming.
All right. Well, it will surprise me.
Okay. John?
Yeah.
What's your current hot take?
What's my current hot take?
Yeah. Just like, this is what I think. I don't think everyone else thinks this, but this is what I think, doggone it.
Darn, what is my hot take? I have some boring hot takes that I feel like I've had for years. I'm trying to think of like a more recent hot take. I'm so bad at rapid fire questions.
Yeah, people don't really care about the rapid part.
Well, that's good.
They care about fire.
Nate, I talk to you a lot. What's one of my more recent hot takes? We could ask Shay.
Yeah.
I'm like, because there's the DC movies thing that I like DC movies, but that feels boring. I like the sequels, the prequels, but that also feels boring.
You were talking to me about like Superman powers. Did you have any hot takes amongst that?
No, they're silly, and I think that's a generally accepted hot take.
Wow. How do you feel about tragedy in art?
I feel like my hot takes have got to be like church related somehow.
Yeah, okay, you just I
have very strong opinions about the church.
Palm Sunday. Take the little leaves away from the children. That's the hot take.
No, I love the kids with the leaves.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I think that I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I'll throw it out there. I think that there could and should be a much easier path forward to church unity, and that we're really due for another church-wide council.
Ooh,
because there are major issues that the church generally agrees upon. The Orthodox Church, by which I would say the church that agrees with the Nicene Creed, the historic understanding of the Christian faith and of Scripture, agree upon. And I think the church where it's at today, if people shut up and got their heads out of their butts about the theological differences.
Very acrobatic that they can do that.
I know, it's crazy. And just said, yes, we will send a representative to a council, and we will all respect each other and each other's differences of views in terms of church authority and in terms of this and that. I don't think we need a theological council. I think we need a council of like, hey, there's a lot of countries in poverty, and the church is one of the most powerful institutions in the world and wealthiest. We could do something about that. If we as the church just all got together, which I know is like a big ask, but also is it really a big ask? If you were to go into any church and ask, does God want us to feed the poor?
No. Hot take.
Well,
wrong.
Like, that's the wrong hot take. It's a hot take that's going to burn you up. If you don't agree with that, great, then you won't be at the council, right? Like, it feels like we should be, we all agree that Jesus is Lord. We all agree that he saved us from our sins and that it's through his saving work, whether we differ on exactly the details of what does like sanctification look like and what does that look like and how does he use the sacraments in that. If you go up to the most basic level, all Orthodox Christians are going to say, we believe that Jesus came, died for our sins, saved us from our sin by his grace, not by our effort, and rose from the dead. In its like
mere
doctoral
Christianity.
teaching. Yeah, mere Christianity is like a great example. Great, we all agree with that. Do we all agree that Jesus wanted us to go out into all the world and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? Yes, we do. Great, that's lovely. Do we believe that God wants us to be a people that embodies his values of caring for the poor, the widow, the oppressed, feeding the poor, tending to the sick and the lame and the dying, and supporting each other? Yes, we do. Great. How could we do that for the world instead of arguing?
So it'd be a call to... Is this a call to lay down arms and to just motivate good works? What would it do that's not being done now?
I think and you probably can, I'm maybe my experience is coming out in my youthful passion, but I think that churches could probably help each other do these things better. And if we shared resources, I think we could get more done than if we were just one denomination. I think that if we worked together on missions or on charity, we could probably do more than if we just were one denomination doing this. Oh, and there's this denomination and they're kind of doing the same thing. And so it almost feels like two businesses competing in the same field and like, and I think
so.
It's
an organizational thing of, okay, we'll do this here, and this is the focus here. Now, is it an argument on the other side that it's one of the perks of the shatteredness of the church is that they can have focuses in different areas and have their lovely tentacles all around the world in different ways?
I think so, but I don't want to take away from that. I just want the church to be able to recognize that together and see where the others are working and where we can support each other in that.
So we need to have a big whiteboard, and the Pope, what's the Pope?
Leo.
Pope Leo writes up on the whiteboard, okay, this month we're doing these million things. And then the Pope of the Protestants says, and this month we're doing these things. I see you're doing that there, so I'm going to wipe that off from mine so I can focus more on this here.
Maybe, I don't know. And I don't know. It could even just be let's encourage each other in prayer. I'm just like, I just love the idea of ecumenicism.
Yeah.
Like an ecumenical church, which is an old concept, so maybe this isn't a
No,
hot take.
I have... Like my logistical and practical mind has would this work? But I think it actually could do something well, because powerful things happen when people are brought together in the same space, and then they go out from that space and there's energy and a love for each other. And I think the Spirit can do powerful things through unity, because God prayed that we would have unity as a church. So I guess determining what the exact output of that maybe isn't our job, but if we have unity, he can do something with it.
Right, because I'm just like, what an amazing testament that the world would have a really hard time denying if the whole church somehow came together, the leaders of the church came together, talked, and we're all like, yeah, we are all on this like basic same theological orthodox framework, and we all believe that God wants us to be his people and further his kingdom in the world. And then they came out of that and they just solved one issue. If they were just like, let's for even just 5 years, because we have millions of dollars which could pay for so many meals for majority world countries, we're feeding these majority world countries. We're setting up something, and we are feeding the poor. Like, that would just be crazy. And I think the church has the resources to do it. I think only God could bring the church together to do it. And maybe, maybe that's not what he wants the church to be doing right now.
Right, yeah.
That, could be. It's like my pipe dream. But I just think, and I see some positive movement toward it. Like, okay, it seems like we're talking a little bit more.
I think so.
I think we are, which is encouraging.
That's what's happening on YouTube. That's
right. And what's happening on YouTube is reality. But I don't know. I mean, Pope Leo seems like he's pretty friendly across, like the theological lines of like Catholic and so on. There was just recently, I think, a Catholic and Orthodox, I don't know if it was a mass or something together, which is almost a bigger deal than Catholic and Protestant because East and West is so separate.
I think they accept each other's Eucharist, though.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think there's some movement there. I just think we need to have a council, guys. Let's just get together in a room. All the bishops. Just get every single person named bishop or who would be a bishop equivalent. The district superintendents for the more...
Yeah, that leaves out all the non-denoms, baby.
No, I was thinking through a non-denom. I don't know. Maybe it's a...
We vote. You can send one...
Yeah, all the non-denominations come together and they like elect a couple delegates.
Yeah, like delegates.
Yeah.
No, I think that
clearly I'm not the one to lead it.
And let's do it. We'll get out the calendar. We'll invite
Pope Leo.
Pope
Leo, if you're listening, and
John MacArthur, if you're listening.
John MacArthur, if you're listening.
We invite
you. Southern Baptist Convention.
Yep.
I don't know who leads the Pentecostals. Some theologically sound Pentecostal. Don't give me a prosperity gospel preacher. They're not invited.
Osteen,
nope, he's not invited.
You can come watch. Learn something.
Yeah. Kenneth Copeland, sell all of your jets. Do it right now.
That'd be so sad for him, right?
Wouldn't it be crazy if after this episode posts, it's like Kenneth Copeland sells all of his jets?
We didn't know you were a listener. That's nice.
It'd be insane. Nate, have we podcasted?
Yeah.
Nate's like, I'm over this. Get me out of here.
Podcasted.
Well, this was wonderful. If you guys enjoy this podcast,
if you want more debates,
let us know.
What should we debate about?
We had fun. That would be cool. Let us know what we should debate about. Share the podcast with your friends, with your family, on social media.
Their enemies. They need this.
Yes?
Maybe.
I don't know who their enemies are.
I don't either.
I don't know. Who needs this show?
Hamas needs this podcast.
I don't know. Our podcast is geared towards missions to Muslims. Just because I watched Little Mosques on the Prairie as a child.
They'll appreciate that. That's our end.
I don't know if they will. It doesn't really seem like it's a show for Hamas. It seems like it's a show for a moderate Muslim.
You don't know them.
Maybe. So share the podcast with Hamas. Follow us on social media if you want to know more. Follow our email newsletter. Our next show is coming up, so that's going to be exciting. You've maybe heard an ad. I probably should record an ad for that, I guess. But I don't know. Anyways.
It's happening.
It's going to happen. It's going to be exciting. Happy Easter, because of course this is Good Friday. Happy Easter as of tomorrow evening for you Eastern Vigil people like myself, and happy Easter on Sunday morning for everybody else.
You get more Easter?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We keep vigil, and then when midnight, we throw on all the lights, and we're like, he's risen! Except our church has a lot of children, so we actually do it from like 7 to 9. So at like 8, we throw up the lights, and we're like, he's risen! But it's still cool.
Even more Easter.
Yeah, see you guys next week. Blessings. Enjoy the Easter weekend.
Yeah.